Sorry, this is like one of my favorite parts of the song. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? I was really hoping he was gonna see me coming. You saw the way he was walking right into the street, didn't even look. Anyway, yeah. So, couple of interesting things has been happening lately, and like I always remind people, I am not an expert in anything, really. I am not an expert in anything. Nothing technological. I'm not an expert in anything spiritual. I'm not an expert in anything psychological. I am not an expert. I am simply someone who observes and reports based on my life experiences of what I'm dealing with as far as electronic harassment, gang stalking, and being a targeted individual. 2014, there was a interview done between I don't remember his real name right now. My memory is so, I would say, cloudy or foggy, or I don't even really know how to describe it. But I've at least I've read the reports on how they can basically use light to interfere with the neurons so that your ability to recall memory or memories are hindered, or rather, if not hindered, they are completely, let's just say, jammed. Overexcitation of neurons basically throw them out of whack, so you won't necessarily be able to get those neurotransmitters fired because, well, they're using this very powerful light source beaming directly into your brain and modulating your neurons in real time. Anyway, so I've been thinking a lot more about at least images, and I've noticed several of you guys have definitely noticed this, or they probably have. They've not just noticed it, but some may actually have some knowledge of the aura, or the human energy, the energy that radiates from the body. Remember, you are more than just the flesh body that you are in. You are literally an energy source. You are an energy source who is connected to an even greater energy source. Everything is connected in terms of energy, but you can pick and choose what you want to connect yourself to. That I've been noticing. So let's just start for one. Like I mentioned before, I am a cannabis consumer, whether by inhalation or by digestion. And but not only that, I also understand, at least to some basic level, the chemical reactions that are happening with the nervous system and the other cells of the body when I consume THC and CBD. Now, one thing I've been noticing is when you think of the aura of the human spirit, you think about the energy that radiates from your body. You got to think of yourself like a light bulb, right? Think of your entire body like almost like a very, like a sun, well, the sun is a star. you gotta think of yourself like a star, or just like this source of energy that can either create or manipulate. Always remember, energy cannot be destroyed. So, and I've been going back to what I was mentioning about the interview. There's a guy online that does a lot of interviews with whistleblowers and truth seekers and everyone who is aware of the conspiratory things that are happening around the globe. I think his name is his channel is called the Dark Horse, I think. So one second. Okay, so he did this interview in 2014 with a guy. Let me see if they're going to allow me to recall his name. I believe it's Richard Allen Miller. Strangely enough, this is the first time I think I've ever really hearing his name. I know I've seen his picture a couple of times, but I never really looked into his work or the things that he, mostly speak on or whatever. But yeah, this guy, he's a professor, teaches physics. I believe he also teaches he's also like a science and what is it, quantum energy or something like that. But he also taught the military, or taught Navy SEALs tactics to use as far as like psychology things to help them deal with war and things of that sort, of how to basically think in very high stressful, intense situations, to basically like separate yourself from your emotions so then you can make very logical decisions with everything you do. Now, I want to go back into that one part where I mentioned separate yourself from your emotions so you can make logical decisions. Now, I like how he was making eye contact with me. Because, think about it. I'm in New York City, right? Any TI living in a metropolitan area, one thing you gotta realize is it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, especially if you live in a city where there are smart sensors everywhere. Trust me, they are everywhere, but you cannot concern yourself with how many people there are. Because trust me, it's a lot. It's a lot. So the last thing you need to do is concern yourself about how many of them are around you. Because at the end of the day, you also got to remember, you're still alive. Though you may be going through torment, tortures, whether physical or psychological, you need not to concern yourself with how many of them there are. Because trust me, there's a lot of them. They outnumber us. But if you also think along the lines of, if you go into spiritual sense, or if you want to go into like biblical texts, or if you want to go into religion and things, it's supposed to be a lot of them. It's supposed to be a lot of them. Why it's supposed to be a lot of them? Because throughout just about most of the existence of humanity, whenever there was an event that took place that had something to do with, quote unquote, the evolution of mankind or the advancement of mankind, there was always some large, damn it, am I going to fit? I should be able to. There was always some majority. There was always a majority that supposedly was getting the best of everything within that society. And then for that minority, The minority were those who were probably, abused or wrongfully imprisoned or probably heckled or a number of different things will happen to these people who are totally innocent and rather producers of higher vibrational levels. Plus, these were also people who didn't care to be a part of the mass thirst for blood and violence. You go back to those Greco-Roman days when they used to just love to just like snatch up original Christians and make them basically put them in a pit where they would like get mauled by lions and shit. And then they cheer them on. They cheer them on. And that's exactly what's happening in these days, right? It's no longer a public display. If they want to publicly display what's happening to you, then what they would have to do, they'd have to create a whole storyline. They gotta, create a situation where the news can basically get a little something off of it. They gotta make it seem like a publicity thing. They gotta make it seem like, oh, you were crazy, so he just had this thing out for everyone because, whatever. They would have to make you look like you were public enemy number one. But if you're not on that level yet, then they'll do everything very covertly. They'll do everything. They'll keep everything amongst themselves. But the general public probably won't know most of the lies that they're pushing out against your character or who you are or things of that sort. But amongst themselves, of course, you also got to remember they have their flying monkeys, and their flying monkeys will be out spreading the slander about you to people who aren't even in their society, just to keep that energy, that low vibrational energy growing even in people who had no idea who you are. But yet they have this thing that they want to try to see if they can get even people who don't know you and who are clearly not a threat to you. They want to get them to even want to hate you, even though they had never had an interaction with you. And then the worst part is, if you're not paying attention to the advancement of like the AI and deep fakes and stuff like that, you will be fooled by any and everything that you are shown. Any and everything that you are shown, you will be fooled by it, because we are ran by a society of people who have conditioned the global population to quote unquote trust what you see and don't question anything. That's just how our governments are treating us. That's how our politicians are treating us. That's how our doctors, the financial institutions. Unless you're in that dark circle, unless you're in that circle, you're not necessarily going to know all the details about everything. But also, even just keep in mind that even within secret societies, there are members who don't have access to all the knowledge that other members have. Because remember, there's always a plot within a plot within a plot when it comes to this, when it comes to these things or these societies. There's always a plot within a plot within a plot. Because at the end of the day, the key is to keep the people at the top from ever having to have any dirt put on them, ever getting their hands dirty, or ever having their names mentioned associated with anything other than what they want people to know. Let's see, can I go this way? Yeah. Got the bike coming up on me. riding a bike in New York City, isn't it fun? Riding all up next to trucks and buses and taxi drivers that like to honk and speed past you just to get to another red light. Woo, gotta love it. Anyway. But yeah, so in that interview, I know I'm all over the place. I'm always all over the place because it's hard to keep one track mind when I'm speaking. Because it seems like every time when I get on the roll, I feel a little zap or like a little thing happen in my mind, and then all of a sudden I lose my train of thought. And I'm pretty sure that's them probably transmitting a pulse that kind of like block some neurons from firing neurotransmitters. So now that just basically makes it harder for me to, concentrate. And like right now, I always have these several beams of light. And you see this? Look at this, and then look at him. Look at this. You see this? Look at this, and then look at him. Where are you honking to? Like, where are you going? You're looking at the same traffic I'm looking at. Anyway, that could be one of them. That could actually be a gaslighter too. That could be a gaslighter because it don't make no sense. You see what I seen, There's nowhere for him to go, so I'm like, what are you honking for? Anyway, yeah, so in the interview, Richard Allen Miller, he was mentioning a lot of things, as far as like manifestation, understanding that, manifestation, understanding the importance of mindfulness, a few things. I don't know. I'm gonna post a link to the interview in the description section, and then you all can watch it. It's like 1 hour and 44 minutes, but it's just interesting that the interview was taken in 2014. It's now 2023, and a lot of the things that he was mentioning, what? Yeah. Let's just say he basically, he saw it all coming. Let me see. So yeah, let me tell you, I noticed that when I have my lighter in my hand, right? Let's say I have my lighter in my hand and my thumb is on the part that basically, the little sprocket that you flick to start the light. Oh, let me get back to you. Back on another route. So, yeah, like I noticed that when I'm using, let's say if I have my lighter in my hand, right, and then my thumb, the little sprocket, the thing that you flick to get the light, the spark going, so that when the spark, right? So when I place my thumb on the little sprocket, right, I know I've heard it several times in the past where in order to like try to visualize what they're doing with the energy of our body, remember how the spiritual energy of a human body basically produces a radiating aura of basically, I guess you could call it maybe infrared light. We emit like a type of, we emit a light, right? Now, what I believe what they're doing is they're using a light-based system, which basically resonates with the exact frequency of the different frequencies that the system can measure that's coming off of our aura. Because what I found out is within our aura, it's several different frequencies, and each different spot on our aura connects you to a different part of our body. So, for example, let's just say if you were staring at your body right in a mirror, and you look at, let's say, the top right, or the top right corner, let's say about a foot away from your head. Top right corner, about a foot away from your head, right? There is a light that is emitting from your body at that spot, and that particular spot has a measurable frequency for that light. That particular spot may, let's just say, be for I guess you could say, I don't know, your hearing, right? So you're looking at it, right? And what they do is they resonate with the body, right? They resonate with that frequency. Once they got it locked in, they then increase the power behind the frequency that they're sending. They increase the power behind the signal that they're sending to your body. And then that basically throws off the natural energy balance of the cells that are responsible for your hearing. I know it sounds difficult, it sounds complicated, trust me. Like I tell you, I'm not an expert, but I'm trying to learn. So let's say 125 hertz, right? 125 hertz. Then you have a device, you send a signal that's exactly 125 hertz. What are you doing? Yes. 287 West 10th Street. All right. Thank you. Anyway, so it's like, let's say 125 hertz, right? You have a device, and you know that person is vibrating at 125 hertz. So you send that exact frequency of 125 hertz. That frequency then is received by your brain, and then your brain is like, oh, I know this frequency because I'm putting out this same exact frequency. So then their system locks on to that frequency. Now it's resonating, right? Now what happens, once they lock on, they can tweak the power behind the signal that they're sending, which then throws off the energy level of your body emitting that same frequency. So I believe I explained it well enough. So anyway, hold on. So because it's a light that you can't necessarily see, and you may live in a smart city, or hell, you might even have a drone flying in your area. And for anyone wanting to know, I have definitely come across. I came across this information about a device called iPeep. It's a drone, right? I think this drone has been out for some time now, but I didn't really think about it like this until it mentioned the details of how it works. So basically what the iPeep drone does is it basically goes around and it bounces off, like it sends Wi-Fi signals, or it reads the Wi-Fi signals of every device that has Wi-Fi something installed in it. Oh, he's waiting for me. All right, one second. So yeah, Yeah, so they basically are, they're tuning your cells and your organs out of its natural, normal energetic state. Um, yeah, overstimulating. So that's that part, right? So what I notice is when I have my thumb on that little sprocket, I realize that I feel like what feels like interference, because the sprocket, right? Let's say I apply pressure with my thumb on it, then all of a sudden I feel this warm shooting buzzing. It's not painful, but if I have my thumb on it, I would feel like this this strange alleviating pressure, or like, I don't know, is like I told you all before that your fingers each emit light that is corresponding to different parts of your body. Your thumb corresponds to anything dealing with your head. Your right and left thumbs, they correspond. I think most I'm gonna just say the right, because that's the image I can remember. Your right thumb basically corresponds with everything dealing with the head, right? So when I place my thumb on that little sprocket and I apply pressure, it feels like the metal of that little sprocket, it's causing interference in the, I guess, the interaction between the light being emitted from my body and then the light that's resonating with my body. The light from their source resonating with my body, like it creates, like it's like there's like an interference. So it's almost like placing a rock in a stream, and then it's like, the water is going to keep trying to flow down the stream, but once you place that rock in the stream, then the water is basically going to try to find some way to either get around that rock, or the water will just simply stop and hold up. Now, when I do that, not only do I feel pressure relieving from my brain or anything, but I also start to slowly feel pressure relieving from different parts of my body too, but it happens very slowly. It's almost as if like something's being streamed, or like there's something flowing out of my body. What is happening to that? Why is everything gated off? All right, I'll be back. Where was I? Yeah, so right, interference. So I start and right now, as you can see, I'm still wearing the lead cap, and then I have like it's basically some type of contraption thing I made. I was testing something out to, like, see if I can block the energy particles or whatever. The reflective thing is basically aluminum. It's aluminum tape, and I use some Kapton tape to try to see if I can create, I don't know, some type of energy absorbing material, but I don't think it's too effective. So let me see. Yeah, I'm still wearing the lead cap, but I think the particles that may still be getting through, because I could feel the energy behind the frequency beams like reduced, but it's not, like I mentioned this in the last video, it's reduced, but it's not blocking as much as I would like, but it is reduced. So I'm thinking that there's got to be another material I can probably apply, something that may be thin, flexible, that I can layer with this lead cap, because I can still feel the beams go through the cap. They're just not as strong as they normally would be. But yeah, so there's that part, right? next thing, what am I trying to figure out now? There's the interference, there's the cap. Right. He's not supposed to be delivering packages. This is a statement I hear oftentimes, especially if I go into buildings where there's like a doorman or anything of that sort, because remember what I was supposed to be is I was supposed to become a police officer for the New York Police Department. That's what the agenda was supposed to be. I was supposed to be handled into becoming a police officer. Why? They never disclosed to me why. I would never take on a job like that and then just like, I don't know, wait, I feel like I'm missing the stop. I think I did. But yeah, I would never take on a job like that because somebody told me to, or oh, somebody told me there's a lot of money. Those are very respectable and commendable jobs, but they're also very, very dangerous jobs. So I'm not going to listen to just anybody tell me, oh, you got to become a police officer because blah, 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 you know. But they never gave me a reason. They just only told me, oh, you got to become a police officer. Mostly because I told, you know, the hospital about me, you know, hearing what I can say now is voice transmissions. What the hell? I know I missed that stop. All right, hold on. I missed my street by like a whole 5 blocks. So, but yeah, I'll be all right. Anyway, Cordelia, Carmine. Let me see. What the hell? Oh, in case anybody wanted to know, this is called West 4th. Where the hell is this street at? Yep, I don't remember where I was at. But anyway, yeah, I mentioned the interference. Oh, right. So oftentimes I hear people saying, oh, he's not supposed to be delivering packages. Matter of fact, the last delivery I just made, I just heard someone say he's not supposed to be delivering packages. But you also got to remember, if you don't clearly see them say it, or you don't clearly, you know, see someone doing something in particular to you, if it's not clear and present, do not, and I repeat, do not approach these people. You got to remember that these people are meant to basically gaslight you in the most slightest way, so then when you do react, they can look at you and then have a whole audience of, you know, supposed witnesses that'll say, what? I didn't say anything to you. I wasn't even looking at you. I wasn't even thinking about you. Man, you're crazy. And that's exactly how it starts. That's exactly how it starts. So it doesn't matter what you thought you heard or what you thought you seen or anything like that. If it's not clear and present and you don't have like proof or recording of it, you need to learn to ignore it. You know, there's no need for you know, anybody to be getting into like situations because they thought, or, you know, even though you probably clearly heard them say this or you clearly saw them do this, but if you can't prove what they did, and, you know, sometimes it's just not worth, it's just not worth trying to like really, it's just not worth trying to really address anybody on it. Hold on, got me another stop. Yeah, my phone was running out of space, so I didn't even really get to finish all things I wanted to say. But the main thing, I think I said everything I needed to say. So I'll just end it here probably. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time.